From the Bob Mills Weather Center, Oklahoma weather expert, Jed Castles.
Jed, are you in need for a girls' trip coming up, or?
I need a trip. Yeah, I need a little time off, you bet.
Especially after last week and all that weather we had last week.
Oh, man, last week was crazy, you bet, with all the storms we had, multiple days of that. All that water from all those storms has now dumped down over Oklahoma. It's just kind of sitting there. So when you have all that moisture just not moving anywhere, you get that heat cranking up, causes some pretty extreme heat indexes. Here are the heat indexes across Oklahoma. Now, you see the numbers here. You see a lot of 1-0, and then there's another number after that, or even in some cases 1-1. And that's the case across much of central into east Oklahoma, up about 105 to 110 in west Oklahoma. It was cranked up yesterday up in parts of east Oklahoma. You go from near Tulsa south, there were spots 115, even saw a few spots closer to 120 yesterday across far east Oklahoma. So here in Oklahoma City, there were some spots up near 110. There's a 112 in Chandler, Bristow 112, Seminole, you were 114 yesterday. Same with Holdenville, around Purcell 113, Chickasha 114, and Norman 111. So you get these kind of heat indexes really hard on the body. So there were some heat-related ailments yesterday, so you have to really be careful in this extreme heat. Fortunately, the heat index does come down a notch, coming up for today, not as extreme. Yesterday was cranked up. That was a really mean day yesterday. The heat again today across central east Oklahoma. That's where the higher heat index will be today, especially up in the Tulsa area where it gets up to near 110, close to 105 here in the central part of the state. Not just to worry about the heat index, but the temperature as well. When it's an outside temperature of 95, you got to watch your vehicles. Anything that's inside of them, if that car is off, temperatures shoot up really fast. After 10 minutes, 114, and after 30 minutes, 129. So there's a lot of new babies out there, a lot of new mothers and fathers. Do not leave your kids in the car at all, because after a very short period of time, those temperatures get deadly. So you've got to be really careful. Make sure always check that back seat. If you are driving, make sure there's no kids, there's no dogs, there's no pets or anything in that car that has a chance to having an injury. You got to watch that there. Looking off to the west, that moon is about to set. That's a super moon here this morning. South winds at 11 miles per hour, 78 waking up this morning. Breezy start out there. Kind of nice out there. Warm, breezy, definitely feeling like summertime. We'll dip down to about 75 here at 7 o'clock. But we'll start to heat it back up by 11 o'clock. 87, probably 90 at noontime, and then 93 by 1. We'll climb it into the upper 90s by 3 o'clock today. Those south winds will pick up about 10 to 20, 25 miles per hour, so kind of a breezy forecast today, kind of windy, as that heat index will nose back up above 100 by early afternoon today. Upper 80s around Alva and also Guyman. A few clouds and even a few showers up in that area here this morning, but generally a dry forecast expected for the majority of the state today. We'll climb those temperatures back up in the 90s, 100s across a large part of the country. It's going to be a hot one today over much of the country here coming up for today. Going into tomorrow, a cold front will get a little closer to Oklahoma. Let's see if it has a chance to move in. Right now, it's kind of holding off. It stalls out there in northwest Oklahoma, so we're going to keep the heat going in the southern plains here for today, really through much of this week. We may dip it down just a little bit by early midweek this week, getting in the low 90s, but much of the week looks pretty hot here coming up. 90s near 100. That's the story for your temperatures for today. Throw in that humidity. Heat index closes in on 108 in Tulsa today at lunchtime, near 99 for Oklahoma City. We'll be up around 102 here for OKC, 105 Ponca, Stillwater, 110 up in the Tulsa area. Heat continues on into tomorrow. We'll come down to 94. We'll try to dip down to about 93 on Wednesday, and then those temps come back up a bit. So mainly 90s. We'll flirt with 100s maybe toward the end of the 9-day forecast. The heat, humidity, some wind on the way. That's the story until further notice.